You. It cannot be you. But it can only be you. The Guardians. Those I deceived. Those that deserted me. But oh, how weak you have become. As weak as you used to be strong. Look about you. You used to lead, and now you follow. Ignorant of your faults, and ignorant of your fate. That it has come to this. Woe to the world that it has come to this. The Guardians. He won't believe me, the fiend. But they have come, as I prayed they would. Could they save me?
Well, wouldn't you look fine with a strapping warrior at your side? Or is it mages you prefer? An eagle-eyed ranger? A stealthy pickpocket? Take your pick of my swords for hire. I thought you'd never ask. Hear that, swords? Line 'em up!
Slimy, reeking, rotting sea garbage. Unknown to all time, are you? Leave it to an imp to try to fill our minds with all manner of magical gobbledygook. I'll tell you who you are. Source hunters, members of the most esteemed order in Rivellon. Here to find out and grind out every last speck of dark magic in the realm. There, the enigma is solved. I can't even smell the sea air over this rot. Plenty of fish in the sea, but I've got the foulest of the lot. What are you? You think I'm... No, comrade. You can keep the honor of being the object of the Space Im's special interest all to yourself. I just hope this fancy of yours doesn't interfere with your real job, or have you forgotten that little detail already? You're a source hunter first, last, and always, comrade.
Fresh haddock! Perfect for a fry-up!
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
Sauce hunters, eh? All right, proper, we're finally getting a hand. Things is chaos. If you've got a favourite sheep, best to fry her up now before she gets thieved in the night like me dear plump Ogget, the finest in me herd. Now that the herd's gone, old Birchie's just scratching by like a hen till the next batch of beasties comes through. I recently sold most of the tender loves to a trader heading north. Plenty of business that way these days. Those miners must be preparing for a mighty great feast. Wish I could have a nibble on my dear darlings, all ground and spiced. Yes. Oh, Ogget's been missing for more than a fortnight. I love that sheep, you know. Was planning to cook her into a fine midwinter night haggis myself. Do tell me if you hear anything about her. I plan on pursuing whoever stole her with my cleaver in hand.
Join the Spud Club if you got an eye for farm potatoes.
Made a big change on your boat with a whale and a good stuff.
Ready to advance, ready to defend. What can I do for you, comrade?
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many faces.
Looks like that dog is awfully agitated.
Perhaps he wants to tell us something.
So many dead civilians. It's an
May
honor
the
to
seven
visit the
keep
fallen.
you.
I smell rotten lamb chops.
Back on my feet again.
Poison my foes!
Right, better already.
Rotten lamb chops. You know who I miss? Jake. Sometimes he'd just sit there being awesome. And I came here so I could smell Jake again. He smelled great. But whatever's buried there doesn't smell like Jake at all. No, it's definitely not Jake. He was awesome. I smell rotten lamb chops. I smell rotten lamb chops. I smell rotten lamb chops. Where are you, Jake? Are you playing without me?
Look here, even a sage and author as renowned as I is flattered when mortals dare among the dead to seek him out. Well, here I am, Nemeris the Wise. You may go wide-eyed with amazement now. As if I need introduction. Nemeris the thinker, the theorist, the visionary. Come now, surely you lack the time, as I do, for such silly questions. Oh, I've written so many celebrated treatises, but of course you have read and revered the philosophy of death, the diamond in the crown that is my literary legacy. There isn't a civilized soul alive that hasn't perused its profound pages percolating with perspicacity. Alas, that so few show an understanding of my words, so few show the expected intellectual growth when I put them to the test. You can, and indeed you must. But alas, I was not buried with a printed version of that blueprint of genius that is my inimitably esteemed essay. Never fear, though, for each and every library in Revellon boasts a copy, the gilded cherry on their paper pie.
Where are you? Are you here, Jake?
Do you truly feel you are ready to prove that you have read and understood the philosophy of death? Then we shall proceed to test the mettle of your acumen forthwith. Between life and death, death is the greater force. So argues the clergyman. Is he correct?
Of course not.
Correct. He is not.
Let us proceed. Life is life's own goal, the question that is itself the answer. Good! Now I am unburdened of all worries, am I not?
Not entirely, no.
I concur.
Last query. Boldly do I scorn the bonds of faith and fear. Death I dub thee life's equal. Is this my salvation or my undoing?
your salvation.
Indeed.
Most impressive. Nothing short of miraculous. You have verily fathomed the message of my book. My undying respect is yours, to an extent. I may rest content in the knowledge that my legacy is in good hands. Ta-ta! I shall see you in the next life.
That shovel has proven worth its weight, it seems.
Where are you, Jake? Are you playing without me?
Indeed. And who knows what manner of riches we'll unearth together with this tried...
Enough to finish this mission with a long vacation in the tropics, gazing side by side at a burgundy horizon if we're lucky.
Jake! Lamb chops. Where are you, Jake? Are you playing without me? Jake, where are you? Are you here, Jake? Jake!
Back on my feet again.
Sweet relief!
Where are you, Jake? Are you playing without me?
What trickery is this? That's not Jake.
Jake?
It's a
Where
rotting
are
sheep's
you?
corpse.
Are you
It
here,
seems
Jake?
someone snatched
Jake?
Jake's body.
Where are you, Jake? Are you playing without me? I smell... Wow, that dead sheep smells pretty great. I mean, wow. But it's nothing compared to Jake.
I feel better already. Back on my feet.
cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff.
Let us see if you can choose the finest greens.
Sauce hunters, eh? All right, proper, we're finally getting a hand. Things is chaos. If you've got a favourite sheep, best to fry her up now before she gets thieved in the night like me dear plump Ogget, the finest in me herd. Oh, Ogget, you're rotten to the bone. Oh, me poor, sweet, plump girl. You've been wasted entirely. All that roast, all the mutton, not even the sausage grinder will want her now. Give her here, will you? Me little mouldering darling.
Potions to bemuscle you, scrolls to entussle you.
You don't think it's infected, do you?
Come on now, I pulled her off you before she could do
That's
any
it, troops.
real damage.
Train up while
No,
you
sir.
can. The next orcish strike could land at any moment.
Oh, what now? What about it? I see. You've come to report a dead sheep. A heap of mutton that sailed into view upon your robbing the grave of a councillor. Lovely. Well, don't just stand there gawking like guppies. Hie yourself to Roberts the mortician. If anyone buried a sheep, obviously it was him.
You don't think it's infected, do you?
Come on now, I pulled her off you before she could do any real damage.
Be close! That was
Any real
sloppier than
damage? Are you
Sicilian
joking?
stew.
I've been
Again.
mauled. I'll be disfigured for life.
Ah, come on with the dramatics. It's not as bad as all that. Can you spare a coin?
Performers, showmen, show all of them.
Not in the mood for cheese. That excuse is more home than a slice of this fine almond bear.
Toe of snake, wing of worm, brew and spice 'em, stir and churn.
Let's see. How good.
The sun is out. Yet, I feel a cold inside my soul. The bane of age, the crux of years.
Ready to advance, ready to defend. Dancing dugongs, you need.
They hustle and bustle and fro, the city's youth. They hustle and bustle, while I sit here stagnantly and watch it all go by. The sun is out, and yet I feel a cold inside my soul. Crux of years. Oh, it goes to and fro, the city's youth. They hustle and bustle, while I sit here stagnantly and watch it all go by. The sun is out, and yet I feel cold inside my soul. Baby, crux of years.
So, what's the bad news? More orcs rampaging through the docks? Or have those infernal statues sent another soul flying to his death? This here's my family business. Yes, there's been a Roberts escorting stiffs into the next life since the foundation of Seal itself. They don't write epics about morticians, but I'm proud of my work nonetheless. Sad story, that. Though if I'm speaking plainly, the sentimental aspect of it all doesn't make much of an impression on an undertaker. Especially not these days, with so many laid low by the orcs and such like. I just concern myself with giving the remains a respectable exit from life. We set him to rest in the northern graveyard. Perhaps he can finally get a little peace. A sheep? That's a whole heap of nonsense. Don't bother me with such wild tales. So, what's the bad? This here's my sad story. I just concern myself with giving the remain a shit. So, what's the bad news? More orcs rampaging through the docks? This here's my I just shh! I suppose you're right. At least if I tell you myself, you'll hear the proper account of things. I buried that blasted sheep. But I swear on my lucky left foot, I had nothing to do with that body disappearing. 1 minute, it was on my slab, you see. I left the room for just a moment to answer the bell in the front parlour, and when I returned, the body was simply gone. In its place was a sack containing more gold coins than I could even count. The message was clear. Silence is golden. My business has been declining right alongside the rest of our blighted city. And that sack of gold was worth more than I made during one of the good years. I needed cash, and someone needed my silence. I knew I had to bury something or risk being found out. So that night, I stole into the market and made off with Bertia's fattest sheep. It was a bloody waste to stick so much fine meat into the ground to rot, but it had to be done. The next day, the pallbearers retrieved Jake's coffin, sealed to hide the body's terrible wounds, none the wiser that within the casket lay nothing more venerable than a slaughtered beast. Now, you can imagine I've spent more than my share of restless nights wondering who could have wanted that cadaver and for what purpose. I'm not an inch closer to imagining the why, but I've got a few inklings as to the who. Near as I can reckon, there are only 4 people who could have been involved. Mayor Cecil, Captain Aureus, Theleron's apprentice Evelyn, and Esmeralda. Plenty of us shopkeepers entrust the mayor with the spare keys to our businesses, you know. And he's the only person in town with a second copy of the key to the mortuary. He could have used it to sidle in without a peep, if he were so inclined. Aureus himself paid me a visit the night the body was delivered. Came rapping at my door in the frosty morning before the sun had even started peeping, and told me to tell him, and only him, if I noticed anything strange or suspicious about the remains. Can't see why he'd bothered to go through all that trouble, unless he knew something the rest of us don't. I know it sounds strange suspecting the doctor's apprentice of something so ghoulish as this, but there's few in this city could manage to transport a corpse without raising eyebrows. It was she who delivered Jake's body from the inn to the mortuary. And there was something about her that night. Some kind of excitement. Seemed she could barely contain her thoughts. That there was something thrilling about to happen. I can't quite settle it in my mind how a young medical professional would have such a strange reaction to an occasion such as that. And this may or may not have anything to do with the whole rigmarole. But her master, Dr. Theleron, bought an old shack of mine, one overtaken by undead, for an exorbitant price considering what he was getting. I never did figure what he wanted it for, but he sure seemed eager. I never saw a widow less distraught at the death of her husband, and I've seen hundreds pass through my parlour. It was she who rang my bell just before the body was snatched, lured me outside claiming she needed air, before discussing the funeral arrangements. Some accomplice could have sneaked in and grabbed the remains while I was comforting the oh-so-overcome Esmeralda. So, what's the bad news? More orcs rampaging through the docks? Or have those infernal statues sent another soul flying to his death? That gold's the only good thing to come out of this blasted affair, and I certainly plan on making some use of it. So, what's the bad news? More That gold's the only good thing to come out of this blasted affair, and I certainly plan on making some use of it. You know, I reckon Bertia really didn't get a fair shake in all this, did she? Here, take the money and give it to her. Times are hard enough as they are.
No better solution to the zombie problem than a set of silver arrows.
Quiet day on the market, it seems.
Lonesome? Spiritless?
Source hunters, eh? All right, proper, we're finally getting a hand. Things is chaos. If you've got a favourite sheep, best to fry her up now before she gets thieved in the night like me dear plump ogget, the finest in me herd. That louse! Did he even bother grilling a single luscious chop? I bet he wasted every last morsel. Captain Aureus will have a thing or two to say about this.
To entussle you.
Careful, comrades. I've seen sorcerers infuse even lowly fowl with dark enchantments.
You don't think it's infected, do you?
Come on now, sir. No, sir.
Those books that embarrass that rich drunk.
The face furious. She bit me in the
Sorry,
face.
sir.
Look on the bright side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
Sir, no, sir.
Well, aren't you going to arrest that stinking thief?
I'll have a talk with him, madam. Ah, the Source Hunter. Oh, joyous hour. Oh, still not finished with that sorry matter? It was stolen? Gods, what a fool that Roberts is! Taking a bribe in beleaguered old Sicil. Ah, what was he going to do with that gold? Buy the largest kipper in the land? He has a lot to answer for, but not as much as the one that did the bribing in the first place. Guess your mission is pretty clear, isn't it? Off you go to find this munificent body snatcher. You dare stand here and accuse me of involvement in this sordid affair? You dare accuse a captain of the Legion? Get out! Out! Before I have my men erect a gallows and string up a sauce pinata! You, again. Do feel free to depart from Sicil at your earliest convenience. Oh, if you must. Oh, still not finished with that sorry matter? It was stolen? Yes, yes. Well, I assume it hasn't crawled back to its grave. So have you found any suspect? You suspect the mayor? Dear me, you couldn't be further from the mark if you lay the blame on a paraplegic cow. The man raised a foundling orc out of the goodness of his heart, you dolt. A murder indeed. Evelyn? Master Theriron's apprentice? Nice lass, huh? Brewed me a potion once that cured me of a rash more bothersome than a badger down your breeches. No, she doesn't seem like the type to play hide-and-seek with stiffs to me.
You'll have the pleasure of putting her down yourself.
I wish for you to try it, Screech woman.
The beast speaks. So you've half a brain behind that feral wall, have you?
Recruits! That was nothing other than again!
Quiet day on the market. Sauce hunters, eh? All right, proper with. If you've got a favourite sheep, best to fry her up now before she gets thieved in the night like me dear plump ogget, the finest in me herd. Gold? How much exactly? Enough to cover the costs in gold and tears of a stolen ewe, I'd bet.
Tussle you!
Bertia should take the gold. She deserves compensation for Robert's misdeeds.
That's right. If anyone should benefit from this situation, it's Bertia.
Aye, nothing to replace me old girl ogget. But I suppose a bit of gold certainly softens the blow. Thanks for that, Source Hunter.
Lonesome? Spiritless? Perhaps wrestling an earth elemental will inject some vim into your routine.